I get so tired of hearing the same arguments over and over again, especially when you predict what they're going to say and they say it anyway. Why? I already know what you're going to fucking say. Like, for example, of course I bring up moderators. And, is God as my witness? Someone's going to run in here and be like, the First Amendment only applies to the government, not not the corporations, not the people. Number one, then it's not a right. That's first and foremost. You don't know what a right is. You don't know the definition of a word. You're fucking retarded. You don't even know your own goddamn language. Because if something is a right, then it is inalienable. But if it only applies to the government, then that is what is called a statute. You are enforcing a statute, a bargaining chip between the state and the private apparatuses therein, that the First Amendment only applies to the government. So you don't have a right to free speech. You don't. You admitted that. I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You're saying you don't have a right. You have a statute of limitations. Woohoo! You know, fucking that's worth not being North Korean or Venezuelan or even fucking somewhere in Indonesia under ISIS control, right? Having a statute. No one's ever fucking done that before. You're so special. You're such a special snowflake, white people, America. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now that we know the difference between a statute and a right, now we can move on to more rationale discussion of okay, if it does only apply to the government and the corporations can ban you because that's their property, well then it's also their liability. Do you hear that? Silence. Because then all of a sudden they got nothing left to say. Make a bomb threat online. Post child porn online. Post a death threat online. Who is liable? Is it you? Then why aren't you being protected under the law from moderators that are harassing you and defacing you by claiming you're doing all this shit when they don't prove it, and conspiring against you and frauding you and extorting you and bullying you and all sorts of other crimes on you? You should sue the fuck out of them and take every penny they have. Doesn't matter what country you live in, that would still apply. If they are the trustee of your content, which would make sense seeing as they moderate you, well then they're liable. Congratulations, Reddit and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and everybody else. Any weird, depraved, evil, criminal shit that goes on is on you. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't feel good to ban people and oppress them and exert your control over them because you have such fragile masculinity and a small penis that you have to fucking do it. But at the expense of, you could go to jail at literally any time because everything people do is an extension of yourself. It's got to be one or the other. And nobody wants to fucking talk about that. But they want to correct me on the very different, which is a big assumption to make that I even give a fuck about your First Amendment because I've said it before about being Canadian, but somehow the whole world revolves around the American Constitution, and meanwhile they don't even know the difference between a right and a statute. But the Constitution, the freedoms, the free speech, you don't even know what any of this fucking means, but you're gonna fit the free speech. And then you want to talk about private property, and you don't even know how fucking private property works and how it's enforced, or the consequential implications of private property. But you want to fucking talk about it anyway. All you care about is you want to ban people. That's really it. That's really what this comes down to. You want to have your gay little club where you're like, let's shoot up heroin and fucking rape children. And, but you don't want the actual implications of capitalism, social democracy, of socialism. You don't want to think about that. All of that's hard. It's hard having a consistent system, whether it be economic or social. You don't want a socioeconomic system that works. You just want to ban people. You don't like that guy. He gets banned. It's your property. You get to ban him. Even if it wasn't your property, which I could probably argue that too, considering, taxation and, statutes of limitations on property and how it can be seized from you at any time and then things like that. The ANCAPs and libertarians talk about too. But even not getting into all that, so it's just a slew of problems and inconsistencies. Nobody fucking cares because they're too busy getting their wee wet over banning people like it's a fucking drug for them. Because people are numb and they're stupid and they want to be stupid. Then you want to cry because they don't have health care. Oh, but we don't have good educations. We're getting shot up in school. The global warming. Good. I'm glad your children are dying. I'm glad that you fucking don't have shit to eat and that you will starve to death. And I'm glad that you're losing your jobs over farting, like Paul Fart or whatever his name is. He seems like a nice guy, but all in all, if you're gonna be this stupid, you don't deserve anything. You deserve to be a fucking third world country. And for all intents and purposes, you act like a fucking third world country. That's America for you. But you have the freedoms. You have your constitution, even though you don't know what it fucking means.